Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. As you can see, I got my helpers here today with me again. They like to be everywhere and we're going to do any kind of work at all. Today we're going to talk about putting on drawer pulls or door knobs. Now, obviously you think, you just put it on the drawer, but you need to find the center of the drawer where you want to put the hardware onto, such as that. So the easiest way to find the center of a door like this, or drawer I should say, is you could measure from top to bottom, divide it in half, or you can go from left to right and divide it in half. The way I do it is I'll usually take something long like a yardstick like this, and you just go from corner to corner, and that'll give you the center of the drawer itself. So you go from the very tip, the very corner up here, to the very corner down there, and then we put a small line like this. Now I am using a pencil because we can wipe this off, just so you know. We put a line this way, and then we put a line this way. Take your time and make sure you have it exactly right, because you don't want it crooked. Okay, and that gives us the center of the drawer itself. And if you're not sure, you could take your yardstick and you can measure it from here to here. And I get 4 1/4. We'll do the same thing from here to here. And we also have 4 1/4. We'll do the same thing this way. We have 4 3/4. And I'm going to measure up. And we also have 4 3/4. So we know for sure that that is the center of the door or drawer itself. Now what we need to do is you need to take your hardware out of the bag, of course. You'll notice that there's different size bolts that actually secure it together. And the reason that there's different size bolts, one is longer and one is shorter. What happens with doors, they're only single. When you come to a drawer, they're usually double thickness, which means that the drawer, not only is it thick this way here, but there's also another piece inside the drawer right here that is actually the thickness as well. So what we need to do is we need to have this piece, make sure it comes through so that it actually screws into the handle when it's on this side. That's why we need the longer one, because the thickness of the drawer and the thickness of the inside portion of the drawer is what makes it that you need the longer versus the shorter. So, all right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find out where this handle is going to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to measure from the center of the screw to the center of the screw, and we can see that that's 3 inches. So what we need to do is from this center point here, we need to measure out exactly 1 1/2 inches this way and 1 1/2 inches this way, so that we have the right spot. So let me make those measurements. I'll put the lines on here and then we'll continue. Okay, before we get started, let me just show you what kind of tools you're going to need to put these drawer pulls on. We're going to need a drill bit, a drill. I'll give you an example here. You're going to need something to measure the location where it's going to go, whether it's a yardstick, a ruler, anything that you have to make a measurement would be good. We are going to need either a Phillips head or a flathead screwdriver, a pencil. You don't want to use a pen at this point, you want to use a pencil. A couple of different drill bits. I always use a very thin drill bit first, and then I'll use the other drill bits. Remember, it's always good to drill the hole just a little bit smaller than a little bit bigger. Also, a thing to keep in mind too, when you're making your measurements on the door, make sure you measure not once, not twice, make sure you measure it 2 or 3 times to make absolutely certain that you're putting the drawer pull and the knobs in the correct place. Because once you drill the hole, that door is not going to be filled in with any kind of filler or anything. So make sure you know where you're going to put it. You're also going to need a drill, whether you use an electric drill or you use some kind of something else. Now I'm not pushing these tools that I have here. These are just the ones that I'm using myself. All right, so all right, let's get started, and I'll show you how it goes along the way. Okay, so now we have our marks where the center of it is, so we need to measure it out 1.5, which we did. We put a 1.5 inch mark here and a 1.5 inch mark there, and we know we need from here to here. On this particular one, it's 4 3/4, so we measured it 4 3/4, and that gave us our 2 locations here and here that we need to drill. Now, what I always do, even though the screw itself is this size of a drill bit that goes through there, I never use the bigger bit. Right now, I use a very small drill bit because that way I can drill it exactly where I want the hole to be located. So we're going to make our first hole with a very small 1/16 of an inch drill bit. Put your drill bit up against it and give it a little bit of a push so that you get the exact spot that you want. Now, I will point this out. If you're drilling a door, make sure there's nothing behind it. You're going to drill a hole through it. Because right now, if the drill goes through a door, it'll make a hole in here itself. The drawer, there's nothing behind it, so we don't have to worry about that now. But I will show you when I do the knobs on the other side. Make sure when you're drilling that you do not let the drill touch into the drawer itself because you'll damage the drawer. So just make sure when you feel it pop through on the other side, you actually reverse it and take it back out. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on this one here. We're going to put it on the exact spot that I marked. Give it a little push. You want to make sure when you're drilling that you have the drill exactly even, that it's not crooked up or down. And now that we drilled the smaller holes in it, now we're going to drill the bigger holes through it. And we're going to go nice and easy. Don't push too hard, because when this pops through on the other side, if you're pushing real hard, you'll crack the wood on the inside. So just let it work very slowly and bite and pull its way through. Same thing on this one. Okay, now we're going to open up a drawer. We'll clean off any of the defilings that are there. Any of the filings inside, of course, too. And now we're going to put our screws through from the back out to the front, like that. And now you can see where they're sticking through right here. Now before we put the drawer pull on, we are going to clean off these marks on here. Okay, so now that we have the screws pushed through all the way, what we're going to do is you're going to catch one screw at a time. Before you tighten them up, you want to make sure both are caught into the handle itself. So we just have that one caught very loosely. And now that you have them both caught, now we can tighten it up all the way. And that's it. That's our second handle, and it'll line up exactly with the one below it. Now we're going to continue with the one up on top over here. Once I get this on, Then we'll come back and I'm going to show you how to install the knob on the door itself to get the door to open. So, all right, we'll come right back. Okay, now the knob we're going to put on, now you can put a knob anywhere on the door that you'd like to. You can put it here, you can put it here, you can put it wherever you like. This particular knob, we're going to actually put it right up in this area right here because that's where I wanted it mounted. So we're going to put these two holes in here and we'll mount these knobs in there. Now, I just want to tell you that you're going to need to center it. If you're going to put it in here, you're going to need to center it in between here and in between here so that it looks exactly centered on that portion of the door itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the height and the width, and we're going to come up with a point right in the center of it. Okay, so we're going to measure to the center of the piece of wood. Now I know this is 1 inch by 1 inch, so I'm obviously going to go down a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch over, and you can see where I put that little dot right there. So that's where we're going to drill it. Now remember what I told you about using the smaller drill? It's a lot, for me it's easier using a smaller drill than a larger drill because a larger drill tends to walk around a little bit while you're trying to drill. Walk around means move up, down, left, or right. A smaller bit stays pretty much in the exact location. So we're going to put it exactly on there, right where we want it, give it a little bit of a push, and now we know that's where we're going to drill it. We're going to open the door, and the reason we're going to open the door is because we don't want to drill through here and accidentally damage the back over here. So we're going to keep the door open while we're drilling so we don't do any damage behind it. And we're going to drill nice and easy. You want to drill nice and straight and level. Once you drill through, you don't want to have the drill bit or the chuck on the drill hit the back of the wood and tear it up. So be careful when it comes through the back that you don't damage this portion in the front. And now we're going to switch our drill bit over to the thicker bit. And now that you have that center point on there, it's a lot easier and the drill won't walk around on there. And I'm going to drill through the back over this way just so we don't have any damage in the back right over here. Put a screw through the back, through there. We're going to take our Phillips head screwdriver and we're going to tighten this up. And that's it. Knob is on. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side over here, and then we'll finish this job off and it'll be all done. Okay, so as you can see, putting the knobs on are not a really difficult job. The only thing is you need to make your measurements to make sure everything is exactly where you want it before you drill the holes. Because once you drill it, there's no going back and taking away a hole that you've already put in there. So that's it. All right, so as you can see, it looks really good with the knobs on there. You can grip them very simply, and that's it. All right, so we're on to the next one, and we'll see what we're going to film and put up next. All right, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.